Hi, this is Daniel Hutchins, and today we're doing an article from our friends, Screen Rant. So today from Screen Rant, we're going to be talking about Star Wars. Yep, Star Wars. So, why the Kaminoeans are after Omega, but not Boba Fett. Okay, so, there are some spoilers from Star Wars The Bad Batch. Okay, so in Star Wars The Bad Batch, the Kaminoeans seek to recapture Omega, since she's an unaltered clone. But why aren't they hunting Boba Fett as well? Well, we're about to answer that question, and this was posted 2 hours ago. So the Kaminoeans are trying to capture Omega in Star Wars The Bad Batch, but given her status as a pure genetic replica of Jango Fett, why aren't they after Boba Fett? Omega is the first female clone of Jango Fett, and Season 1, Episode 9, Bounty Lost, reveals that she lacks the modifications made to most clones. Aside from being a female version of her template, this means that Omega has more in common with Jango's clone son, Boba, than the Republic's clone troopers. But the Kaminoeans are preparing a contingency plan against the Empire, who are no longer interested in using Jango clones for their military. And Omega, rather than Boba, is the key to this. So all Republic clone troopers are grown from the template of Jango Fett, legendary Mandalorian bounty hunter. Most clone troopers are modified to be more obedient and team-oriented than Fett, as well as age at twice the rate of a normal human. Some clones, like the Bad Batch, are mutated to be super soldiers and are capable of more independent thought than standard clones. Jango was well paid for donating his D.N.A. to the Kaminoeans and Republic, but he also wanted a completely unaltered clone to raise as his son. This clone, who we named Boba, famously became the bounty hunter like his father as shown in the original Star Wars trilogy, as well as from The Mandalorian. Okay, so related to this article is Bad Batch Omega Jango Fett's first female clone explained. But we're not talking about that, we're talking about something else. Okay, so Bounty Lost reveals the full origin of Omega. Like Boba, she's a pure genetic replica of Jango Fett with no modifications other than being female. The episode also reveals that a pure genetic replica like her can be used as a new clone template. The Kaminoeans presumably wish to produce more Fett clones in their plot against the Empire. But Boba would just be as useful as Omega in this regard. The Bad Batch member text states that Boba's whereabouts are unknown, but the Clone Wars devotes several episodes to showing what Boba was doing up to the prequels. Okay, so after several failed attempts to kill Jedi Master Mace Windu, a vengeance against Windu killing his father, Boba became the bounty hunter like Jango, of course being more famous though. But despite being a child, Boba proved to be more effective and a deadly mercenary. Boba Fett's whereabouts were known to the Republic and almost certainly by the Kaminoeans during the Clone Wars, but Boba was incarcerated in the Republic prison for a time. But at that time, the Bad Batch, he's most likely at large. Once again, Boba's whereabouts are most likely unknown once more, but forcing the Kaminoeans to focus their efforts on capturing Omega for their contingency plan. So if his appearances in the Clone Wars are any indication, Boba is also extremely resourceful and deadly individuals. But as a child he killed numerous elite cage warriors with ease, and it took Asajj Ventress, a powerful Sith-trained Night Sister, to overpower him. Although Cad Bane and Fennec Shand are among Galaxy's best bounty hunters, Boba may simply be too deadly for the Kaminoeans to pursue during the time frame of Star Wars The Bad Batch. Rather than send bounty hunters to capture the deadly Boba Fett, the Kaminoeans are likely making a pragmatic choice of pursuing the non-combat trained Omega as their next clone template. Okay, so now I'm going to be talking about a bonus. So this bonus is Omega's origin and Boba Fett connection explained. Okay, so Star Wars The Bad Batch just revealed the origins of young Omega, as well as her major connections to the famous bounty hunter Boba Fett. Okay, warning, there are some spoilers for Star Wars The Bad Batch Episode 9, Bounty Lost. So the origins of Star Wars The Bad Batch's Omega has been revealed, as well as her secret connection to the legendary bounty hunter Boba Fett. Being the youngest and newest member of Fugitive Clone Force 99, Omega is certainly unique, though the particular reasons as to why had remained a mystery. However, the cloners of Kamino have desperately been seeking to get her back in their possession, believing her to be the key to their survival in the newly risen Imperial era that has come with the Clone Wars conclusion. Okay, so throughout the series thus far, the Kaminoeans have sent bounty hunters after Omega and the Bad Batch, wanting her alive at all costs. As a result, formidable hired guns such as Fennec Shand and legendary Cad Bane were hired to get the job done. While Fennec Shand failed in her first attempt to recover young clone, Cad Bane managed to get his hands on her on the planet Bracca in the midst of the Bad Batch fighting their former brother Crosshair. So, related to this article is Mandalorian corrects George Lucas's biggest Jango Fett retcon. But we're not talking about that, we're talking about something else. But this brings things to Star Wars The Bad Batch Episode 9, Bounty Lost, which sees a persistent Fennec Shand attempting to take Omega from Bane before he can deliver her to the Kaminoeans. Furthermore, the Bad Batch is searching for Omega, seeking to rescue the youngest squad mate. However, it's here in this episode that the Bad Batch's tech reveals the reason why Omega is so valuable and unique to Kamino in the first place. Omega is an unaltered Jango Fett clone and Boba's sister. Okay, as revealed by Tech in Star Wars, The Bad Batch Episode 9, his deeper analysis of Omega's genetic profile revealed that she carries first-generation clone D.N.A. This means that she's pure replication of the clone host Jango Fett. Furthermore, she is also unaltered, meaning that while the vast majority of clones are modified with growth accelerants and behavioral implants, Omega was unique, in that she grew in a normal pace with greater independence. This also explains her youth, even though the Kaminoeans' host template has been stretched thin by the rise of the Empire. Without growth acceleration, she must have been created in years just before the beginning of the Clone Wars, most likely around the same time as the other known unaltered clone in the galaxy. Sure enough, Omega's pure and unmodified genetic makeup effectively makes her just as much as Jango Fett's daughter, and Boba Fett is as a son. Being a first-generation and unaltered clone as well, not only that, but Tech reveals that Boba's codename given to him by the cloners is Alpha, which explains why Omega got her name as well. But Boba Fett was the first Jango clone, and Omega was the last clone. But of course, why the Kaminoeans want Omega? The reason why the Kaminoeans want Omega back at their cloning facility is simple. She's too valuable to lose. With the Empire strongly considering abandoning the Republic's contract of Kamino in favor of recruiting troops from different worlds across the galaxy, the cloners need something major to remain attractive as business partners. However, that's something they can't do, with Jango Fett's host template continuing to deteriorate, leaving them nothing to actually clone. As such, if they succeed in getting Omega back, they can use her and her pure genetic material instead to get their job done. Related to this article is Boba Fett versus Cad Bane, which bounty hunter is more powerful? But we're not talking about that, we're talking about something else. So interestingly enough, it seems as though the Kaminoeans themselves have different priorities when it comes to Omega. While Prime Minister Lama Su wants to simply gain what they can from the girl and to terminate her afterward, now LSA desires to keep the young clone out of the Prime Minister's hands at all costs, as she cares for her and wants to keep her out of harm's way. Why now Sao hired Shan to find and bring in Omega, with Cad Bane hired by Lama Su, while Omega managed to escape the clutches of these bounty hunters, as was soon rescued by the Bad Batch. She's clearly been rattled by the heroin experience. However, Hunter and the rest of the squad explains to her why Kamino wants her back, revealing how valuable she truly is. What Omega's existence means for Star Wars. As far as what we know about Omega's new origins and status means for the rest of Star Wars going forward, it could lead to a few different outcomes. First and foremost, it would certainly be interesting to see Omega meet her older brother Boba Fett, seeing as how legendary the bounty hunter he really was, and essentially now was a sibling in the same way that Jango was as his father. However, one has to wonder if he and Omega would have actually met or interacted when Jango and Boba were living on Kamino prior to the start of Clone Wars. In any case, name-dropping Boba as the Alpha to her Omega certainly seems to tease the future meeting as well as the potential past. Assuming Omega survives the Bad Batch, it's also possible that she could show up in future projects such as the Book of Boba Fett, coming at the end of 2021 on Disney+. While Omega now has some pretty significant origins, there's no telling what her future may hold for her just yet beyond sticking with the Clone Force 99, who determined to protect her from Kamino at all costs, while also evading the Empire. All in all, Omega was just become an extremely valuable target in the Star Wars galaxy, and to reveal her new origins have turned her to the mentor player, rather than being one-off and potentially forgettable side character. Omega is the closest thing to being a sister and family that Boba Fett had, and that's huge. As a result, fans should not expect more reveals to come, and Omega's status and shared connection with Fett certainly helps stoke some hopes for a Boba Fett appearance in future episodes, as the animated series will continue. And Star Wars The Bad Batch always will release new episodes every Friday on Disney+. There you go, guys. That's just a little bit of some connections between Boba Fett and Omega. If you guys like this content, please hit that thumbs up button. Make sure you like and subscribe. And you guys have a wonderful rest of your afternoon. Bye.